Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, as you can see from the title, is going to be a how-to on how I get my makeup, my full coverage ass makeup that I wear literally all the time, to all the events I go to the outings, to the meet and greets, everything I do whenever I'm doing a full coverage look, to not look cakey throughout the day or look not cakey at all, basically. I know that my foundation is full coverage. I understand that and I know that, but the point of this video is to show how you can keep your full coverage foundation from not looking cakey and heavy on the skin. Is it full coverage? Hell yeah. Hell yeah it is. As you can see, there's like, what pores, bitch? Like, they ain't existing at this point. But we want to make sure that the foundation that we have on the skin is not super cakey and heavy looking. And I feel like I accomplished that with today's look, with still looking really pretty and natural. I do get a lot of compliments from you guys in person when you guys do meet me, that you guys say that my skin looks really smooth and pretty. And I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And I just wanted to share my information and what I do with you guys. And this is also, I guess, an update on my full coverage routine, I suppose, as well. But this is what I do to make sure that my face does not look cakey or heavy throughout the day. As always, if you guys don't like this video, if you guys do not like me, please don't fucking watch it. You know the Jonah thing. I say it in every single video, do not watch this video if you guys do not like it, because I don't want to subject you guys to watch something that you guys do not want to see. But if you guys do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, click like right now, like it, and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. But yeah guys, let's go ahead and get into this video on how to get your full coverage makeup to not look cakey or heavy on the skin. Okay guys, so let's start on today's video. I'm going to be walking you through how to make your full coverage foundation basically not look cakey at all, or at least making it as less cakey as possible, even though your full coverage is fuck. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So with making your skin not looking so cakey, not so heavy, you wanna make sure that your skin is very moisturized, because you don't wanna pick up on any dry patches, because that's a big tell of the fact that you're wearing a lot of foundation is when it picks up on a dry patch. So make sure your skin is moisturized and primed. I'm moisturized already. I'm gonna use a primer. I'm gonna use a silicone-based primer because it makes it for a lot better of a slip. I'm gonna take the Benefit Professional, for example. When using a pore filling primer, it works so well at making sure you get the most smooth and flat surface as possible on the face. You want to really make sure that you work some type of silicone-based primer into your skin, especially on the areas that you have the most pores. For example, for me, it's gonna be in the T-zone, where my pores look like death. This is just an extra step that I like to do just to ensure moisturization. I'm gonna take the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, spray a little spritz on the face. Not only are we locking in that silicone-based primer, but we're gonna go ahead and add a lot of moisture and just awakeness to the skin, and really just kind of like pow. Think of it as like you're chewing gum, and it's like that burst of like, it's like that for your face, I think. Just in my mind, that's how I think in my mind. So we're gonna let that settle into the skin real quick. This is an excessive part of my routine. I like to use a couple of foundations. I like to use between 3 and 4 foundations with my entire face. I know that's so fucking crazy, and you do not need to do this at all. I'm just gonna be using different methods that work for my skin personally and the effect I like to use. So for example, I'm gonna be using the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible in the T-zone, specifically on my nose and a little bit on my forehead. And then I'm gonna go in with different foundations for different reasons. I love the Infallible for mattifying my skin and lasting all day on my skin. This is in the shade 103 Natural Buff. It's not my exact shade, but it's the closest I have found to match me. So I'm taking on a little beauty blender and I'm gonna buff this into the skin and really make sure we're pouncing this in. And for the nose, I like to make sure I'm using a beauty blender and not a brush, because I feel like it's so much better to pick up excess product with a beauty blender on a nose. Girl, the brush does not it does not play well with my nose. So then for the other parts of my face, so as you can see, the foundation is down. It's a really nice mattifying foundation. It's not too matte, but it's a nice, really pretty satin matte finish. And I think it looks very nice. I'm gonna be taking the Hourglass Vanish Stick, and this is gonna go on my cheeks specifically. I like to do 3 stripes right there. 3 stripes, 1, 2, 3. A little bit on my bearded area, because I have that blue discoloration from my facial hair. A little bit on the chin, a little bit on the sides of my temples, and 1 little stripe on my nose for added coverage. And for health, wealth, and happiness. So I'm keeping the majority of the coverage in the center of my face. So basically in these areas right here, I like to keep the most of the coverage, because I just think that the coverage there is the most necessary for me. For example, for me, I don't really need a lot of coverage over my beard. Like, I just don't. If you're a female watching this, you don't really have to worry about that as much, but I like to keep the most of the product and the most of the foundation, everything concealer in the T-zone, because that's where I have the most problem areas, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of the Dior Air Flash in the shade 200, spritz. I'm gonna do a little bit on the cheeks, a little bit on the temps. And now what you want to do, I'm going to take a buffing brush, and this is going to really ensure that we keep all the coverage there, but it's going to mix very nicely. The foundations are going to mix very well. They're going to play nicely together, because what we're going to do is we're just going to press and pat this foundation. And as you can see, I'm just going to buff out downwards over the bearded area. I don't need extra coverage on the beard because I have a fucking beard. Like, what's the fucking point? We're gonna make sure that the coverage stays on the areas that don't have much facial hair. So this is what you have so far as just the base. As you can see, the base looks very, very pretty, very satin, almost very of a glowy of a finish. I love the Hourglass foundation stick because the coverage is so full and it's so nice and it's so pretty. But I love the Duo Air Flash because it gives you a luminosity of a finish. So it really, when you mix these two together, you get a full coverage, luminous finish. And I think it just looks absolutely beautiful. It looks almost skin-like as fucking like full coverage can be. But now that I have the foundation down, I'm gonna go ahead and press over with that beauty blender and just literally just lightly press on top of the skin. Pick up any excess product that might be left over without picking up too much and without taking away any coverage. I'm just pressing full as fuck coverage, like full as fuck, but it's not looking cakey, which is what we want. So now for concealer, I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape, and you guys know I use this all the time. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna take a dollop right underneath my eye, where I need the most coverage, a little bit on the forehead, down the center of the nose. I like to do it on the smile lines as well. For me, I need to put it in the smile lines because I need something that will crease a little bit less than foundation will. On the T-zone, on my chin, and on my mustache. So now this is also really, really important. So when I'm going with concealer, I don't like to use a brush. I actually really like to use a sponge for this because I feel like with concealer, it's really easy to look cakey so quickly. Luckily, the Tarte concealer is actually pretty good at not looking cakey, but not all concealers are like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna press this concealer in with the beauty blender, and we're really making sure that any of the excess concealer that we don't need there is gonna be picked up by the sponge. So this is why we're using a sponge for this method. Sorry, my friends are texting me. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a really lightweight powder and we're gonna cook underneath the eyes. I'm gonna be taking the RCMA No Color powder, specifically for underneath my eyes and my smile lines. That's where I like to use the powder specifically. I'm gonna take it on a sponge. I think it's really important to take your powders on a sponge if you really wanna avoid a cakier look for underneath your eyes. Keeping my eyes open, I'm going to look at my mirror and myself, and I'm gonna set from the back of my eye going into the eye. I just feel like less wrinkles form when you're setting this way. Sometimes I forget and I'm like, whatever, but for the sake of this video, I really want to show you guys this method because I do think that it really works. Setting your eye backwards instead of setting it from the front back, setting it from this way on, I feel like really diminishes the wrinkles a little bit more. I don't know why it does, but it just fucking does, man. The wrinkles just sit different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that there, and we're gonna put that into the smile lines, specifically the RCMA powder. Areas that crease a lot, RCMA powder. That's what we want to use, a really lightweight, finely milled powder. The areas that I put the RCMA powder don't have as much oil on me. Like for example, the nose and the forehead, I need to do a different powder because they produce a lot more oil. And the RCMA powder does not really keep my oils at bay throughout the day, even if I'm cooking it, it just doesn't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it cooking here on the sides of the face, as you can see, boom, cooking on underneath my eyes and in my smile lines. But for my nose and for my forehead, I'm going to be taking the Cover FX Loose Setting Powder. This is honestly one of my favorite loose setting powders ever. It's so fantastic. It's talc free, which means it's not as heavy. You guys, honestly, this powder makes me fucking shook. It's such a finely milled, beautiful powder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a powder puff, and for the nose and for the forehead and the rest of the face, we're going to set in with this powder puff. We're literally just going to press. And this is another trick when it comes to not cakey foundation. You don't want to disrupt the foundation underneath the powder. That is going to make it look like it's a cakier, heavier foundation because there's going to be streaks. It's just not going to look as pretty and as smooth. So we really want to make sure that you're pressing into the skin. And we're going to leave this for about 10 minutes to cook into the skin and make sure that the powders are as set into the skin as possible. During this time, if I'm doing makeup, usually what I'll do is I'll do my brows while I'm cooking my face. And once I'm done with the brows, I'll wipe off the powder. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do my brows off of camera real quick. And then we'll be right back to show you what I do once the powder is settled into the skin a little bit more. Okay guys, so it's been about 10 minutes and I finished my brows off of camera. I just did a quick brow. They look a mess. I'm sorry. Zaya was in my lap. She did not want me to finish the brow. She fucked up my brow. It's fine. I can see on the viewfinder right now, the majority of the powder is actually underneath my eyes still from the cooking. So I'm just gonna take a little brush and wipe this away so there's no excess powder lying around. And then I'm going to be taking a large brush, and this is like my holy grail right now. I've been loving this so much. This is the MAC Medium Golden Mineralized Skin Finish. I've talked about it recently in a favorites video. I just love this powder so much because it gives you a lifelike finish to the skin again, and I think that's really, really important for a full coverage look, and the mineralized skin finish will do that to you. So I'm going to take a Morphe E2, a large brush, and I'm just going to literally run it in this, and I'm going to brush off any of the excess powder that I might have on the rest of the face. And I'm starting on the red perimeters because this is a little bit darker than my skin. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I applied my bronzer, highlight, blush off of camera. This is what the face looks like right now. Everything is still very full coverage. It's very, very pretty. It's very heavy. It's heavy as fuck, but the point is to not look cakey as fuck, okay? So that's what we're doing right now. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of a setting spray. Any setting spray works, but you definitely wanna make sure you use a setting spray to make sure that all the powders that are on your face that are left over on the skin melt into the skin a little bit more. That's a very, very key thing about setting your face, is that not only does it set it and make it last longer, it helps melt in the powders on the face to be a little bit more dewy and skin-like. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna take the Milani Make It Last setting spray. Spray this on the fucking mug. You can spray as much as you want. That was about enough for me. Maybe a little too ham. Could've went a little too fucking ham. Okay guys, and this is what the skin looks like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see what it looks like up close. It's very, very full coverage, but it looks very, very smooth and pretty and not cakey. So that's kind of the point of this whole entire video. And this is how it'll look literally all day long. Not to brag at all, but I do get a lot of compliments on my skin whenever I meet you guys in person. I get a lot of compliments and you guys are always like, oh my god, your skin looks so perfect. And I thank you guys. I really, really appreciate when you guys say that to me. But I really do think that's because of the routine that I've been doing recently. It looks nice and full coverage and beautiful, but not cakey and heavy on the skin. Around my beard, does it look a little cakey? Yeah, it does, because I have facial hair. But if you don't have facial hair, it's not gonna look that crazy on you, but you can see a little bit of more residual on the facial hair, but that's unavoidable. I just want you guys to look mostly here and just see that though my skin is full coverage as fuck, it's not cakey and heavy looking. And that's the point. And yeah guys, that's it for the entire video. I hope you guys had fun watching. Another side note, this is just another thing as well. Throughout the entire day, I have to wear my makeup sometimes for like 12 hours on end, and I will get oily throughout the day. This is just a tidbit of information from me to you. What you guys want to do is you want to make sure that you blot off the excessive oil before you add powder to it. If you add powder to your skin, because it's oily, it's gonna cake up and look a little bit more heavy. So what I like to do, for example, if I like am out of like those little like pads, those little rice pads, I'll go to a bathroom and pull out that fucking like sheet for the toilet. I'll pull one out and I'll blot my nose and like the T-zone area. I'll blot it to take off the excess oil, and then I'll add powder on top of it. It literally looks as if you just did your makeup all over again. Like, it looks so fresh and pretty when you take off the oil and add powder on top. Do not add your powder on top of your oily face. So think of it as this way, like you're literally just adding more powder on top of your face without taking off that excessive oil layer, so it's gonna bunch up underneath. So try to make sure that you're doing that to prevent a cakier face. But I hope this video helped at all. I feel like I was really talkative and very much like talking through in this video. I hope it's not too long and I hope it's not too boring, but I really just want to inform you guys what I do to make sure that my skin is not a cakey mess throughout the entire day, and it really does work for me a lot. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave everything I talked about in today's video linked down below, as I always do for every single video, and all the brushes I use, affiliate links if you guys want to use any. If not, it's all good. Have a great rest of the night or day wherever you guys are, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys, I hope this helped. Mwah. Bye. And may the best woman win. One video down, two to go. One video down, two to go. Hey, one video down, two to go. I'm the shit. One video down, two to go. One video down, two to go. Ha. 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 Fuck me in the ass. I'm gonna just curl my lashes because I look like a fucking naked mole rat at this point. Shit. And down the center of the note. Okay. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Hey, no kisses right now. Where's my princess? Where's my princess? She's gone so big, guys. She's gone so big. Look at her. Mijita chiquita, bebecita, mojita. I don't know, I just said the last one. I'm pretty. I need to create space para todo. I primed. No, I haven't. Zaya. I swear if you piss on this white carpet, I will die. Don't.